Hello, and welcome to my first look at Risk of Rain. Risk of Rain is a semi-new, independently developed game, released on Steam not that long ago. It would have been, I want to say a week ago at this time. So about beginning/mid-November 2013. It's had a lot of people interested in it. It's been described as a action platformer with roguelike elements. Some comparisons have been made to games like The Binding of Isaac, mostly because of the item system in the game and the random elements that exist within the game. The game does have permadeath, so you die once, you're done. You gotta start back from the beginning. Something else that the game does that's really interesting is that it encompasses a time element. And I only have about an hour in the game, so I'm not 100% aware of all of the different items, the different ways they interact with each other. But the time element's pretty apparent right from the beginning. You start, and your goal is to get to these little teleporters. They look just like this right here, these little teleporter things. And activate them, which causes a boss to spawn. You don't actually have to kill the boss right away. You do eventually have to kill it before you can leave. But you have to outlive the boss until the timer runs out. Once that happens, enemies quit spawning. And you have to clear the floor and then leave. It sounds a little complicated, but it's actually very simple. Let's actually just jump right in. Now, as you can see, I've only played it a little, so I haven't unlocked all these other classes that apparently you get throughout the game. I've just got the Commando. Each character, as far as I know, because like I said, I only have this one, but each character has a set of skills. I would assume that's the same across all of them. The skills are not the same across all of them, with the fact that they all have 4 skills, or some number of skills. Basically, you get a little descriptor up here. You can choose your difficulty. There are 3 difficulties. There's Drizzle, which is reduced difficulty. Then there's Rainstorm, which is like normal. And then there's Hard, or Monsoon. Obviously, the game has a rain theme, so it's pretty easy to see where they got those names from. Risk of Rain, as you can see, it's let me go and move my mouse cursor. I'm playing with a Xbox 360 controller. The game supports both a controller and a keyboard. You can see right up here, it gives you the keyboard commands. There's move, there's jump. And there's a timer in the top right corner right here, as you can see. Game difficulty is now set to very easy. And you might say, well, Looter, I thought you chose the normal one. What are you, a pansy? Are you doing some video editing crap? Sneak in an easier game? The answer to that is no. Not this time. But great idea, and I will take that into consideration. As you can see, I killed those enemies. They drop money. Money from the top left corner right up here. Got $24. I assume these are dollars. The S with the line through it, universal sign for Americano. Dollars. Americano. Oh, shoot. Taking hits already. Down in the bottom center, you can see all these different icons. These represent my skills. I just shot it right in the wrong direction. Each skill has a cooldown, except for your like normal attack, which does not seem to have a cooldown at all. And you can also see my life bar, and I'm getting hammered. Sorry, it's difficult to describe what's going on while actually playing a game like this, because this game's very fast-paced. Also, I hate the jellyfish. I'm just going to go ahead and jump out of the way of the jellyfish, hit this guy, take him down, and we picked up some experience to level up. Leveling up gives you a health boost. It doesn't fill your life up, but it gives you a health boost. It gives you all the new HP that you gain from leveling up, you get, so that's nice. The cooldown on the skills, not very long, which is nice as well. And you can see I'm leveling up a bunch, so I'm going to be able to take these guys out much more efficiently now that I'm shooting in that direction. You can sort of tell right away the type of game that this is. Action platformer. A lot of running, a lot of avoiding taking hits. The enemies, for the most part, aren't too cheap, which is nice. You always feel like you're sort of on equal footing. They will start to swarm you, though, if you're not careful. The timer in the top corner, you can see it's hit 2 minutes. Game is still on very easy. It will get more difficult. In front of me here, you can see there's this $50 chest. That's one of the elements of this game that you'll notice right away, is that you don't get things for free. You do have to kill enemies, pick up the money, and buy the items that you're going to get. And now that we've hit level 4, these guys should be so much easier. So I'm going to go ahead and open this thing up. And so I got a shackle here. Prison Shackle. Slow enemies on attack. That is a great pickup to get, because you're always being kind of swarmed. Now you have to explore the area to find the chests. You can see right here there's one, but I can't afford it. I'm $1 short. And a day late. You got one of the colored monsters. Now, I sort of think of this in the same sense of Binding of Isaac, where you've got like the heavier mobs. They give you better loot, but they have way more life. But they use the same sprite as a normal version, and the same attack as a normal version. I don't know if they do extra damage to me or not. I'm not 100% sure on that. You can sometimes see as I'm hitting these guys, well, he's attacking me if I'm hitting him. I might get some red above it, and there he drops lots of loot, and good experience too. You might notice that the damage above his head is white normally, but sometimes it's red. You actually get critical hits, and sometimes it seems like the critical hits are based on when you're hitting the enemy, and other times it feels like it's just sort of random. So you got a med kit here. This will receive a delayed heal after being hit, so that's nice. And you can see in the bottom left corner, the items that I've gathered are starting to pile up. There's just 2 there now, but you'll get so many more. You also can't shoot on ropes, which I hate. I feel like it should be Spelunky-esque where you can still shoot on the rope, but that might make it a little easier. So you see I took a hit, and then I'm getting healed. Great pickup. And pickups in this game are hugely important. Hugely important. Your success in this game is part to do with your skill, obviously, in the game, just like in Binding of Isaac, but also part to do with the pickups you get. Some items are incredibly powerful, but what you get is random. What you get is random. So you can't count on getting good items. You can do stuff like this, where you can see the enemy actually towers over this area. I can actually land some shots on this guy, and I'm getting hit from the back. Never feels good to get hit in the back. But yeah, you can sort of cheap out some of the enemies. You also have pushback on your weapon, as you've likely noticed. Hugely important. Hugely important. Which is nice. Which is nice. So, the enemies, as you can see, are spawning in. You might also notice the timer's at 4:30, and I'm still on very easy. You may be thinking, I thought you said the game gets harder the longer you play. And don't worry, I wasn't deceiving you. Eventually, I believe it's after about 5 minutes, even, the game jumps to a harder difficulty, and the enemies will switch. You actually spawn different enemies at different difficulty levels. Now, I've been putzing around here because we've been chatting. I actually need to get moving. I've got all this money, and I haven't spent it, and that's a mistake. Because you want to open up all the chests you can. At least that's my experience thus far. Get as many items as you can. What do we got here? Meat nugget. Enemies drop chunks of healing meat. Interesting. And ukulele. And his music was electric. So that's nice. I'm going to go and ride the wave here. Ride the wave. If you hold down the jump as you ride the wave, you will... Rusty jetpack, increase jump height, and reduces gravity. I'm getting owned by these jellyfish. Jellyfish are just the worst, okay? I don't have like a phobia of them, but in games, they're just freaking, they're all up in your grill, especially in this game. But in other games too, jellyfish, horrible. There is fall damage that I've taken in the past, so you want to be careful. It's not usually catastrophic fall damage. There's actually an item you can get that makes it so you can drop on enemies and do additional damage based on how far you fall, so it's like the opposite of fall damage. So there we go, another level. I didn't notice it at the time, but I'm looking up now, and you might have seen the difficulty actually switched from very easy to easy. And the enemies, these enemies are slightly different than the other ones. This thing over here, what do we have here? Take a peek. Wait, summon imps. If I kill the imps, I get a reward. So let's just kill them. And there's my reward. Oh, that's a reward. That's not the reward. There you go. Logbook, tiny imp. And Monster Tooth heals after kills. So this thing right here, these totems, they actually don't disappear right away when you open them. They just go up in price, which is an interesting dynamic. So you don't always get something good from these. And actually, I think this right here is an imp totem. So it spawns imps. As you can see here, it's spawning imps. And I'm actually getting heals from the item I got. And look at this, it's another Rusty Jetpack. This is something that this game does that not all games in this genre do. And it's something I actually really like. You can have more than one of an item, and you just get its effects multiplied. So my jump went way higher because I have 2 jetpacks instead of 1. It's not like that jetpack pickup is a waste. You actually get something from it. And you see I'm sitting here trying to tank these guys, and that's a mistake. In this game you don't want to sit and tank. You want to keep moving. So I'm going to go through one playthrough of this. You see I went all the way to the left. Didn't find what I was looking for. Sort of a bit of a bummer, but you know, that's fine. We'll explore some more. I'll go to the right this time. Now, the one thing I have noticed is it seems like the majority of the time, and I'm not sure if this is just because I only played it a couple of times, because I'd have about an hour in this game. So that's a few runs. It seems like the first map is always the same. And here's the teleporter. So if I activate this, and this is actually a great spot for the teleporter to be. And you'll see why in a sec. I think it's a great spot. Unless, well, it could be a great spot. It might not matter, but it could be a great spot. Let's activate it. Stay alive. So you see I have a timer over my head. I need to stay alive for the boss fight that's happening here. It's Colossus, which is like a giant... Yeah, there he is up there. A giant scrub monster. Shoot. Let me go up here and go up here. Get through that. Oh, I'm taking hits. There we go. Way to shoot your bullets right into the wall. So I'm not good at the game. Nobody has ever made the statement that I'm a gamer supreme here. But you want to kill the Colossus if you can. You see its life bar at the top. If you can't kill it, it's not a huge deal. You don't lose if you don't kill it. But I believe you get a bonus if you can kill it. That's what I'm going to do. This is cheap as all hell. I'm going to come right up here. And I'm just going to lay into this thing. From up here, I believe it can't hit me. And that's one of the problems, and also one of the perks of this game, is that you can often find these areas, and the enemies are spawning in such a way that it's causing you problems. But because most enemies don't do contact damage to you... Oh, shoot. They have to attack you. As you may have seen there, he actually did attack me, which is kind of a drag. But yeah, because they can't do contact damage, like this guy here, he has to open up his mouth and hit me to do damage. Because of that, you can often sort of tank your way, and then jump away or roll away before an enemy does their attack animation. The timer at the top of my head, as you might have noticed, is about to go off. Meaning I will not have killed this Colossus before the timer runs out. Real drag, to be sure. But now, all that's left is killing off all the enemies. So no more enemies at this point are going to spawn. Now that doesn't mean I can't sit here and continue to get the game difficulty to go up by wasting time. Increased difficulty means increased rewards, of course, good thing. Also means, at some point the enemies are going to outscale you if you're not killing them softly. So let's kind of retreat a little bit here, and come over here. One of the other strategies you might have noticed I've been employing poorly. I'm about to get owned here. Don't want to die on the first level. I'd like to show you guys a little bit more of the game. Is that I like to go back, I like to retreat, and then wait till my powerful attack is charged up. You might notice in the bottom the timers and stuff like that. I like to retreat while I can. Jump over this stupid fireball's attacks. Again, contact damage, not a thing for most enemies. Especially, as far as I know, all the enemies that I've bumped into don't actually have contact damage. You can also jump and shoot, which is nice. So you can sit here and cheese these guys. Again, though, difficulty goes up. You might have noticed I'm now on medium. That is not going to reset when I clear the level. That is something that's going to go on throughout the entire game. So, be careful. Don't waste too much time, or you will regret it. Let's just jump through these guys. There we go. Pick up everything I'm killing, by the way. Dropping tons of life to refuel my HP bar. The enemy is not respawning, so the counter on top of my head is going down, which is a good thing, as you know. At this point, I have so much money, and you might be wondering, well, why aren't you spending it? First off, I don't know where to spend it. I could go explore the level some more, find some more things to spend it on. That would take time. And as you know, time is of the essence. That's the running theme in this game. Time is of the essence. If I don't spend the money, I don't get to take it to the next level with me. It becomes... Oh, don't shoot that direction. It becomes experience. Good thing, of course, it's not a complete waste. Bad thing, because often your levels are not as important as the items that you have. So you do have to make a decision. You can see when I'm hitting this guy, I'm actually slowing him down thanks to my shackle. And sometimes I'm getting electric damage to him, which is good too. Here's another shackle. Yep, another shackle. I already had a shackle, but as we talked about earlier, that will then combine with my other shackle to give me increased effect. So I'll have increased slowing effect. 9 enemies remain. Now, at this point, it's sort of a memory game. Where was I before that I spawned enemies at? Because no more enemies are going to spawn in place of them then. So if I had ran away from enemies all the way back on the left, I might have to go all the way back there to get those guys, which is going to be a problem because I'm going to waste a ton of time doing that. So a lot of strategy involved in this game. Add to that the replayability, and I have to say this game is definitely getting a positive review from me. Having only spent an hour with it, I don't know the longevity of the game. However, having spent an hour with it and still feeling like it's my first time playing, and getting new, interesting items, having not unlocked very many of the characters at all. In fact, none of them except for the one that you start with. I can say that this game definitely is going to be a game that I'm going to be playing quite a bit. Does it have Binding of Isaac level of replay? Are we looking at 400 hours here? Probably not. Probably not. Are we looking at maybe 100 hours? Easily. Definitely. Could be. So, with that in mind, and the game is $10 on Steam. Independently developed. Still in the works, by the way. They're still making patches. Oh, shoot. I'm going the wrong direction. Got this arrow above my head telling me where I should be going to find that last enemy, and I am going way in the wrong direction. Let's just go this way. Last enemy is obviously up there. What am I doing? My apologies for the bad gameplay. The more time I spend with this, the more I feel like I'm going to become competent with it. And so the more likely I am to get good. And then I won't be so mad because I'm bad. Oh, here we go. There's a chest right over here. I'm actually going to grab this. And right up here, you can't see it, but that's actually a free chest. But it's not the same as a chest. It's like a trash can. Chance to do double damage. That's nice. That's cool. And you can see the item stacking up in the bottom corner. Every item that you pick up has a journal entry, too. And earlier, you might have noticed I picked up a monster log. It seems like that's maybe a 1% chance when you kill a monster that it drops its log, which then unlocks its journal. And see, that would just give me just experience. I've got 900 freaking gold and nothing to spend it on. And the longer I wait here, the harder it's getting. You can see I'm actually about 30 seconds from a difficulty spike. Let's open this. Got the crowbar. Deals bonus damage to healthy monsters. Cool. So I guess that means my first hit's going to do extra damage, which is very nice. So let's get out of here. As you can see, all of my money turned into experience. Not even enough to get me a new level, which is a real shame. Now, we're in the Fungal Haven. I believe this game does have a set number of levels and an ending. It's not a game that just goes on and on forever. So that is a perk, because it means that you have something to strive for. It's also a shame, because that means that, you know, at some point the action does end. Right, there's a fireball dude. I'm actually going to go over here. And you can't see that I'm hitting this guy, because he's off screen, but I actually am, which is nice. Oh, and we got this demon thing. You can see now his life is much lower. This guy's like a teleporting shadow thing. These are new enemies, both because we're on a new level, and so the enemies change, which is a benefit. The enemies on levels appear to be different, depending on which level you're on. But also because the difficulty is now higher. And you can see some of the enemies are the same, like this Fire Knight. He's the same. And I'm getting overwhelmed, which is a damn shame. Now, if there's a shop, I didn't see a shop on the previous floor, so I didn't get to talk about them. In the shop, it looks like you can buy all 3 items. You cannot. If you pick up one, the other 2 items disappear, which is a shame. And these enemies are actually smarter than the other ones. They will jump up to meet you if you try to cheese them, which is both good because it makes the gameplay more challenging, but it's a damn shame because I love to cheese the enemies. That's kind of my thing. I love to take advantage of bad AI. And I'm about to die here. You're going to probably see what happens when you die. I'm going to retreat. My life, as you can tell, is actually going up a little, because you do have a natural regen in this game. Unfortunately, your natural regen is so weak until you get things that boost it. There you go. Killed the enemy, so I got some bonus life because of some of my perks. And you can see I'm making no progress. The game difficulty is now set to hard, and I'm not even able to make it through this first area. I want enough money to get this. This is a drone. I've only repaired a drone one time, and it just basically follows you around and helps you out. In the case of the other drone I had before, it kept giving me 1 HP. Like every second it would give me an extra HP regen, which are cool. I don't know what this one's going to do. I don't know if all drones do the same thing. Let's repair them. Okay, this one is a shooting turret drone. He is apparently going to help me do damage. I believe that one of the ways that you can get pretty dang far in this game is if you just have tons of drones, because you could have an armada of these guys. And I did look at the achievements, and I believe there was one for getting 5 or 10 drones at once, which lets me know that you're not limited to just one drone. Now, once you get the best perks, you can tell I've got a couple really good ones, like the Prison Shackle that slows down the enemy. There's some that push back enemies when you shoot, too. If you get the right combination, the game can become very simple. I can already feel that. Just like in Isaac, when you get the Mom's Knife, Polyphemus combo, or maybe Quad Shot Polyphemus combo, the game becomes much simpler for that run. I get the feeling this game is also going to have that same, I don't want to call it an issue, because it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's one of the beauties of the random number generator. RNGesus is helping you out. So that's nice. Now, I'm sitting here not doing what I should be doing, dodging. Often, I feel like I want to just sit there and tank. And that's a mistake. In this game, that is definitely a mistake. From here, because the mushroom and apparently the fireball also can't jump, I'm able to get some nice, cheap damage in. But I waited too long, and some enemies spawned that can move around. And that guy right there, that weird, I don't even know what to call that thing, like a tadpole monster, has a laser beam. I'm going to buy this question mark one. What is it? It's a use item. Use items are like spacebar items. I just used it. You can use them multiple times, like spacebar items in Isaac. Mind you, I apologize for those of you who haven't played Isaac and are sick and tired of hearing about all the comparisons. When you talk roguelikes, it seems like you always bounce back to Isaac because it's basically the staple of that sort of genre. Although I shouldn't call it roguelike because I know it's not rogue specifically. I guess you call it like a roguelite. Anyway, let's not dwell on that. If you don't like the roguelike comparison, replace it with Isaac-like. How about that? Call it by its own name. Let's repair this thing. So my drone, it looks like, got owned and had to be repaired again, which cost me a ton of money. I didn't realize how expensive that was. I should probably not have done that. So I'm going to use my item again. Every 45 seconds you can use it, which is nice. It's a perk. Some items refill, I believe, a little faster. This item, the fruit, I've gotten before. I also got a lamp in the past that gave you like a little shield around an area where enemies would not come to that shield and they'd get bounced off of it. Stuff is getting expensive, but enemies are dropping much more loot. That's part of the game getting harder. I believe that the cost of chests is related to the difficulty of the enemies around it. So basically, if you kill everybody, you're always going to have enough money to open up all the chests. The question is it worth the time to sit around and do it? And actually, another question is, you might have noticed I've been sitting here for like 5 minutes fighting these guys. Is it smart to fight these guys, or should I be leaving them? And that's the question you have to ask yourself as you play the game. Should I be killing everybody? The answer is probably no, you should not, but you want to kill enough people to get the money to open the chests. At the same time, you don't want to sit here and dwell, because the longer I wait here, more enemies are going to spawn. And that guy spawned on this platform. There's these 2 or 3 guys over here on this platform. This is one of the other things we haven't touched on yet. This is a shrine type of thing. You pay money to it. It gives you something. In this case, it gave me another first aid kit, which I'm very happy to get, because that doubles the effectiveness of the one I already had. It looks like my drone is about to die. Let's try and not leave him. Yeah, he's getting hit all over the place. He's taking tons of damage. The drone is going down. I'm pretty sure this drone's not going to make it. But you might have noticed I got an item from it, and it didn't disappear. It has a chance to give you an item, a chance to give you nothing. Yeah, that drone's dead. And the cost continually gets more expensive the more you use it until it breaks. So I used it the first time, got that health kit, very happy with that. It wasn't a guarantee to get an item from it at all. And if I use it again, which I'm going to if I can make it through these 2 guys. Awesome. Oh, nope, that guy's... Oh, no, there's 2 more. I'm going to use it again. And it gave me another fruit. But I already have the fruit. So that's a bummer, because you can't have 2 spacebar items. Not really spacebar items. On my controller, they're B button items. Game plays really well with the controller, and it looks like the magma worm has now spawned. That comes from the teleporter. When you activate the teleporter, that's a possible boss. I've never killed the magma worm, so don't expect that I'll make it through here. We're on very hard mode now. The game does give you a visual cue as to where it's going to land, or where it's going to come up, I should say. So right there, it's going to come from here. And it'll come back towards you. And as you can see, it's actually possible to pretty, I don't want to say easily, but to avoid this thing, if you're paying attention, which I wasn't there, I didn't see where it was coming up at. It is indeed possible to not die to these things. I'm probably not going to show you how it's possible to not die, because I suspect I will die. Everything's doing tons of damage to me. Let's go over here. I can't actually afford that. I'm $4 short. Bosses will follow you. The magma worm specifically can go through anything, and he will just relentlessly hunt you down. Enemies can use the teleporter pads, as you've seen there. They're not teleporter pads. They're like spring pads. The high jump pads. Oh, that's a mistake. Ran right into it. I'm likely not going to be able to kill this thing, as I mentioned before, but as you can see, this would be the strategy you would use if you were better at the game. I just died. First death. It wasn't your time to die. You can see my unlocks. I've unlocked nothing this round, which is a shame. When you die, it gives you this little screen that tells you how well you did. Overall, I enjoy the game, and I think it's worth the $10 for sure. It's possible to go on sale at some point. A lot of indie games like this that start at $10 do eventually make their way into daily deals on Steam, or they get put into humble bundles. But I've got to say, this game is worth the asking price. And if you want to be in on it now while it's still getting updates, still getting improvements, check it out. It's Risk of Rain. It's currently $10 on Steam. You can buy it in a 4-pack for $30, so basically you buy 3, you get 1 free. It does have multiplayer. Now, I haven't been able to play the multiplayer, and some of my friends have been telling me that it's not that easy to set up. You have to do some port forwarding, that sort of stuff. If you're a PC gamer, you're probably familiar with this sort of concept, and it shouldn't be a big deal to get your game going. It does seem like it would be a lot more fun with multiple players. At the same time, the single-player, quote-unquote, campaign, if you want to call it that, is a blast. It's definitely worth it. And I would also like to thank Jining Quasar for hooking me up with this copy. Jining, I appreciate it. It was on my wish list. Jining saw that, bought a 4-pack, and gave me one of the copies. And so thank you. Appreciate that a lot. Also, you might have noticed this is the first video that's been up on my channel in a while. I'm still playing games. I've moved most of my gaming over to Twitch. So feel free, if you like the content I produce, and you'd like to see some indie games being played, some chat interaction, we usually have videos playing as well, feel free to swing on by twitch.tv/AyekaLooter, AYEKALOOTER, just like the YouTube name. Broadcasting every day, Monday to Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard. 6 to 9. The best time is always 6 to 9. Anyway, that's it for me. If you want to see some more Risk of Rain, swing on over to the Twitch channel. We've been playing it quite a bit there. We will be playing it quite a bit there. My first 2 runs were there. It's my original hour of playing this game. And I think we're going to be playing it quite a bit more. So anyway, till next time, friends. Stay classy. Would you? Thanks.